What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Switch Up Sports coming to you on a Saturday night. It is now the middle of June. Didn't think about it, but it is the 13th of June here, like I said, on a Saturday night at 10:10 as we are live here on Facebook and Instagram. As we get started into today, it's going to be kind of a little bit of NFL, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of MLB. It's going to be kind of a mashed up, as well as a little bit of golf going on. So as we get back into sports, as we have some more topics going on here today, that is definitely what we want to get into. We're getting more sports. We're getting more news on sports. Wednesday, we were kind of dry. That's why I didn't end up doing a show. Got busy with some work things. Didn't do a show just because it didn't really have much. I was going to talk for 10 minutes on a little segment that honestly didn't really make too much sense. So just went ahead, pushed it all to Saturday as today. Before we get into it, as always, you got to follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Switch Up Sports, as well as if you like podcasts or you like watching little YouTube videos, follow us on Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, or on YouTube. So as we get into it, the first thing I want to start off with is I had my Russell Wilson rant about 2 weeks ago. The next one that I'm going to kind of have on is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was not in the top 50 players ranked. Carson Wentz is a lot better than people make him out to be. They say, oh, Dak's a better quarterback. And it's like, oh, okay, tell me how Dak is a better quarterback. Oh, well, Dak throws for more yards. Dak has more wins. Dak does this. Dak is more of a franchise kid. Dak doesn't get hurt. So Carson Wentz has missed 8 games over the last 4 seasons since he's been in the league. He was arguably the MVP the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl and gotten home field advantage if it wasn't for how he played during the season, and he would have been the MVP if he played the entirety of the season. He has now played multiple different seasons with cluster injuries to wide receivers, offensive line, and injuries on the defense. Last year, he took a team to 9-7. He won his last 4 games of the regular season playing with deck furniture that was used and for sale for free on the side of a road in the middle of a trailer park. It's been beat up, it's been thrown, it's been fished out of the lake. That's what he played with the end of last year. His offensive line, he had injuries on the tackle. His center had got injured. He had a couple guard injuries. He had multiple injuries to wide receivers. They were playing with not even just practice squad guys. They were playing with dudes that they just picked up. They had injuries on the defensive line. They had injuries at cornerback and safety. They were the most injured team last year in the NFL. And yet Carson Wentz carried the team and won the last 4 games of the season, beating the Cowboys for 1 and taking them to a playoff berth. Also, when the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, he was on MVP level. If he plays 1-2 more games that season, he wins the MVP. Why are we still trying to force this narrative of Carson Wentz really isn't that good? Dak isn't better than Carson Wentz. Dak isn't as big. Dak isn't as strong. Dak isn't as athletic. Dak can't change his arm angle like Wentz can. Dak doesn't make all the throws that Wentz does. Dak doesn't make as good a decision as Carson Wentz. You want to say that Carson Wentz turns the ball over? Carson Wentz has better stats than Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers' whole career is based off of efficiency. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a ball away and completely give up on a play before he's going to try to throw it into a tight window. Carson Wentz has a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. No one is beating that. His numbers over the last 3 years, we'll take out his rookie year, over his last 3 years, his numbers look amazing. He's super athletic. He has a Patrick Mahomes quality of being able to change arm angle and being that athletic. Now, the reason why we don't give him as much credit is because we say, he's injury prone. Okay, he's missed 8 games over 4 seasons. If you want to put it, that's 2 a season. Yeah, he had an ACL thing. Yeah, but also, if you look at it, each year that he's been playing, he's had to deal with offensive line injuries, and that is directly where it's at. He's super athletic, but when you have a bad offensive line, you got a bunch of guys coming in and hitting him all the time, and he's putting himself in harm's way to make certain plays that other quarterbacks aren't willing to make. Carson Wentz, super underrated, and really the only thing that he has to do to get on that level is to win a Super Bowl. If you just watch him play the game, you can see, wow, this guy's got talent. You can look at the stats. He's got a 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He wins games. Like, he wins games with no talent around him. And the talent that he does have around him has gotten hurt recently. This next year, they've gotten better in the offseason. They've got a little bit better wide receivers. They've got some guys to bring onto the defensive side of the ball. They've brought in new offensive guys. This next season is going to be great. Carson Wentz, I said, watching him, he passes the eye test. He passes the stat test. And really the only test that he hasn't been able to pass is winning a Super Bowl. That's that last one. The only one who's done that within the first 4 years in the league is Patrick Mahomes, who we saw him as soon as he started playing. Wow, this guy's phenomenal. He passed the eye test. Then you start to look at his stats, and it's like, wow, this guy's putting up amazing numbers. And then, lo and behold, he turns around, wins the Super Bowl. He's gotten an MVP. He's been there. Like, that's the only thing that Carson Wentz doesn't have, is he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He wasn't the one that won the Super Bowl. But because of how he played that season is the only reason why the Eagles even had a chance that year, is they had home field advantage. They wouldn't have been able to make it through the playoffs is if Carson didn't set them up in a position to have the number 1 seed. It wouldn't have happened. Now, transitioning and moving from there, we can talk about Dak. Dak, in terms of being paid, you're not better than Carson Wentz. And I understand the way that the NFL works. It's the beauty of the market. Whoever's the next man up is the next guy to get paid. Well, you know what? Jared Goff, the reason he got paid was he, right at the time, was starting to have a breakout with McVay. He was starting to look good. There was high promise there. Ended up going to a Super Bowl. That's why they paid him. You look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the highest paid in the league right now at $35 million a year. Try to tell me that Russell Wilson isn't. You can make an argument he's the best quarterback, but he's in my eyes, he's second best. You can make an argument for 3, but you can't go further than 3. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league. You can make an argument for 1, 2, and if you fall off on one of those, he ends up being 3rd. Okay, that's fine. You try to tell me if Dak is better than Russell Wilson. Is he better than Ben Roethlisberger? Is he better than Carson Wentz? Is he better than Jared Goff? Is he better than Tom Brady? Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? Is he better than Lamar Jackson? Is he even better than Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones looked phenomenal in his rookie year. Is he better than Josh Allen? I like how Josh Allen is a big, strong athletic, and he is a raw athlete type of quarterback. Dak is. We'll have to see the next couple years in terms of Josh Allen, but as of right now, I would build a team around Josh Allen before I'd build it around Dak. Now, do I think Dak is better than Baker Mayfield? Yes, just because of the off the field types of situations. Do I think Dak is better than Kirk Cousins? No, I will take Kirk, but I think they are very comparable players. Kirk had his payday, and I understand the Cowboys are going to want to pay Dak, but Dak is asking for ridiculous money. Because here's going to be the situation. He's going to hold out. They're not going to sign in the next month. He's going to be franchise tagged the way he's going to need to be. If he tries to hit the market today, no one's going to pay him when he wants to be paid. The only reason he can do this is because the Cowboys understand, he's given us, a couple playoff bursts, and he gave us a playoff win, and we haven't really amounted to much, and he's a stable guy, and he's a guy to rely on. As a Dallas Cowboy player, Jason Witten was the one that came in and replaced Gruden. Tony Romo just got paid the highest contract out of all sports announcers. And you've got just Cowboys scattered throughout all different walks of the football media mixture world. They're all there. Troy Aikman is on every Sunday, primetime, middle of the day. That's who it is. If he wasn't you don't see Dan Marino on. You don't see. Peyton Manning has commercials, but you don't see him broadcasting games. Troy Aikman is on because he was a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Is he a decent sportscaster? Yeah, I'll give it to him. I'd rather listen to him than Joe Buck. But it's a situation where he didn't get that because of just being a great quarterback. Because then you could have given it you can give it to Dan Marino, and it's a long list of things. He has it because he was the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, and a good one. Dak can get anything he wants just by being a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So I think he needs to swallow his pride, understand that there are bigger off the field things that he will be able to obtain, and just sign for we'll call it $33 million. That way you're beating out Carson Wentz. But sign for $33 million, and that extra $5 million that you're going to have over, you can give to a running back, you can give to an offensive line, you can give to a linebacker, you can give to a tackle, you can give to a safety. The things that you need to keep a team. And if they signed out to a biggest contract, they're going to have 8 of the highest paid positions in the NFL. Their depth is running very thin. Very, very thin. They've got a new head coach. I don't think McCarthy really even likes Dak. He's ready to move off of him. You've got a new offensive coordinator. If Dak does not work this year, he's canned. He is canned. McCarthy's not going to hold for him. He's not going to say, oh, I want him to be here. And if that happens, Jerry's not going to step in and be like, oh, well, Dak's my guy. Because Dak is sitting here trying to gouge every dollar he can. You should have taken the deal that they've offered now multiple times. You can be paid $35 million, and it's still not good enough for you. So, either swallow your pride and understand that there are bigger off-field things that you will get afterwards, or what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to talk to teams all year because of the exclusive franchise tag. If you play bad, you get cut and just straight canned, and you end up going to the Jags, the Raiders, the Colts. They're not going to dish out a $38, $39, $40 million contract to a guy who has proven now over the last 3 years that he's more hype than he is actual play. That's the bad thing that you're really gambling with at this point, Dak. You think, oh, they like me here, Dallas, they're going to do anything. If he doesn't sign a contract this year and he plays poorly next year, Dak is gone. Plain and simple. Case in point. Either sign a contract and swallow your pride, or you better play your ass off this year, because otherwise McCarthy's not going to put up with it, and you'll be looking for a new job next year. And a lot of guys in this league, whether it's the Raiders, the Jags, the Colts, they're not going to dish out some large contract to bring in a guy who just got cut from a team and just got thrown out on the street because of poor play over the last couple years, that team did not want to sign him to a big contract. That the city of Dallas likes Dak. They do. They back him. They're huge homers for Dak. Jerry, I think, likes Dak, but I think this has kind of left a bad taste in his mouth because he's trying to give Dak a good contract. And he's pushing it right back in his face saying, I'm worth more. When he hasn't proven himself. He hasn't shown that he can take a team on a playoff run. He hasn't shown that he can be the man, that he can galvanize and lead the team. It's Zeke's team. It's Cooper's team. It's Sean Lee's team. It was for a while. More people would look at Jason Garrett and say, oh, Jason Garrett's more of a big deal. That's the issue that's going to be happening. Dak, you're walking a very tight rope here. So I better hope that you've been training like no other this offseason, because the Cowboys are coming in with the first or second most new guys showing up on offense, with preseason most likely being cut down to two games. OTAs have been cut. The mini camp is going to be almost non-existent. You're going to have almost no time to work in with those new guys there on offense. And you think that you're going to come right out of the block swinging. Because guess what? If you play poorly in September, it's not going to get much better once you get to, middle of November and December. Because that's when the real teams show up. And that's when teams who are really good are going to be cutting at your throat, and they're going to be stomping right over the top of you. Dak, I'm telling you, man, it is a tightrope you're walking. You're going all in on a 2-7 offsuit right now. That's the type of situation that you're in. just take the contract. Swallow the pride. You're going to have things off the field. 35 mil. You're going to be equal with Russell Wilson. And you're nowhere near equal with Russell Wilson in anything football related. But yet you can be paid the same as him. Take that into consideration. As now kind of still staying in the NFL, that same question and same kind of proposition goes over to Baker Mayfield, as this is kind of his last year. He's got that same issue. If he doesn't play well this year, he's gone, because this is his third new head coach. They've got a new GM in there. They've got more than enough offensive pieces. So Baker Mayfield, same thing to you. If you do not play well, it's your job that's on the line, not the head coach. Because then it shows it wasn't Hugh Jackson. It wasn't Freddie Kitchens. It's going to be you, bud. Take that into consideration. I hope you've been working your butt off this offseason, because also the Browns are another one of those teams that have a lot of new faces on offense. So good luck, because you better be coming out guns a-blazing in September and rack up some early wins, because I hate to say it, but people are still gunning for the Browns for what you guys have said before last year started. And again being said this year, saying, oh, the Browns are a legit Super Bowl contending team. People gun for you for that type of thing. Be on the lookout, because it's your job that's on the line, not the head coach again. You've got a new GM and you've got a third head coach. It's not them. It's you. Whereas Sam Darnold, yeah, they'll get rid of Adam Gase. They'll bring in a new coach before they just fire Sam Darnold. That'll be the thing there. So Darnold, you got another year. If you don't play well this year, Gase will get fired. If you don't play well with the new coach that's coming in, you're next. Now, switching over to the NBA, as we are Switch Up Sports here on Instagram and Facebook Live. The one thing that the NBA, people keep going back to, oh, well, why are they playing 8 games? I've said why they're playing 8 games. I looked into it. TV contracts, every team's going to get to 70 games if they play 8. The TV contracts will be paid out, so the cap isn't going to be coming down, or it's not going to come down as far as they were thinking it's going to. They're going to get paid their money from TNT and ESPN. The TV contracts are where the money is at. They're going to play 8 regular season games and make this false 22-team tournament for the playoffs, where they're giving Washington a handicap, or 4-game. It's a wash for the games not being played. It's a handicap. You're being spotted 4 games because they want to make it more interesting. Why have a play-in game? It makes no sense. There's no reason to have 22 teams. If you're coming back to play regular season games, what does it matter if it's 16 playoff teams? Oh, that's right. Zion is just outside of the playoffs, and they want people paying attention to the NBA when you're going to have, we don't know on baseball, but football is going to be there, both NFL and college. Soccer's coming back. UFC's doing really well. Golf's now back. The NBA needed a storyline. They needed a team that has some star power. People watched Duke basketball last year. They watched. They had the shoe controversy. He's got the smile, the explosiveness, the fun with the dunks and the yelling and the celebrate. That's Zion. He's already brought that to the NBA. We've seen the spikes when Zion plays versus when he doesn't. The NBA wants that in the playoffs. They need that for ratings. Because, honestly, I'm going to watch LSU Florida before I am a playoff game. I'm going to watch Oakland playing the Titans before I am a playoff game. I'm going to watch the Vikings Saints before I watch a playoff game. I'm going to watch a big UFC fight before I watch a playoff game. Now, baseball, yeah, I'll watch an NBA game before I watch baseball just because there's so many of them still. The NBA needs Zion for the ratings. They need some type of something to make them give a little bit of extra boost. And that's the reason why. They're playing 8 regular season games because they need their money so that way the cap doesn't plummet. They're going to get paid by their TVs. They're getting their TV dollars because they're playing 8 regular season games. They get every team to 70 games. They throw out this fake nonsense of, oh, well, we need it to have seeding and we need to be able to see if Washington can get in and there's a chance that... No. It's to get Zion in the playoffs. The Wizards thing is all a hoax. They don't care about the Wizards. They care about getting Zion in the playoffs. They care about hitting 70 games to get their money and the ratings to hopefully cling to Zion and the Pelicans winning a couple games. Because if they don't, if it's not LeBron and Giannis in the finals, no one cares. No one cares. No one's going to watch the Magic and Utah. No one's going to, I hate to say it, people still won't even watch it if it's the Celtics and the Clippers. They don't care. They won't watch it if it's the 76ers Clippers. It's not a good enough storyline. Football is king. You are playing right in the heart of everything. You think people are going to tune into an NBA game when there's a big NFL game on, or a big college football game on, or a big anything else? The Masters, the US Open, those are being played as well during your NBA time. MLB will hopefully be in the playoffs. There's a lot of sports that are going to be happening. NHL, people say, oh, they're not a real sport. They have a real following. They really do. And NHL playoff hockey is arguably better than any other sport at any time. Playoff hockey is just different than any other sport. There's a different speed to it. There's a different aggression. There's different talent and skill. The first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes of an NHL playoff game is incredible. People get to see the violence that they see in football. They see the skill that, is required in both soccer and in basketball for the different types of touch that it takes to, skating up the ice with the puck and being able to deke someone out and hitting a slap shot from the blue line and putting it upper 90 in the right corner, just past the goalie's glove. That's exciting. Yeah, you can say people don't watch the NHL, but when it comes playoff time, people watch the NHL. It's the same with baseball. A lot of people don't watch every regular season game, but your diehard baseball fans do. But once it gets to playoffs, if you got the Yankees, the Dodgers, they're watching MLB playoff baseball. The Cubs, the Cardinals, big name brands. And that's the problem with the NBA that they're worried about. They know the Pelicans are now a big name brand because of Zion. They need that extra oomph because the only really person that matters in the NBA is LeBron. They understand that. They know that the Lakers are already in. But they need another, and that's Zion. Yeah, you can say the Bucks is great, the 76ers are great, the Celtics are great. No one really cares. It's LeBron and Zion. Those are the two. And you can't really just base it off LeBron because if LeBron loses, no one's going to watch. No one's going to care. And people understand the Pelicans probably are going to lose. But it's fun to see. It's fun to have that atmosphere. So you're going to see a ratings bump that first weekend of the playoffs. And it just is going to dip from there. Hate to say it, but it will. It really will. As I mentioned, as we switch up again over to the MLB owners, I don't get it. You're fighting with your players because you don't want to pay them the number that you signed on the contract. That turns into the negative when you own a business. You own a business, you get to reap the rewards when things are going really well. And you know what? The MLB owners get more than their fair share. They really rake it in when it comes to finances. And there's a reason why you see a lot of people trying to get a collective team together to own a sports franchise, especially a baseball franchise. The Yankees with the Yes Network, just the Yes Network alone made $100 million. That's just one aspect. That's not taken into account the food sales, the ticket sales, the jersey sales. That's just specifically one network. Not any other network that they made from. That's their own one network. $100 million. The owners, they get more than their fair share. When things are going well, it's going really well for them. But the players don't see an extra dime when things go really well. But now, when things go sideways, you want to take away from the players because you're going to lose less money. Hey, we understand that. Now, as a business owner, I understand that. It's terrifying. It's scary. But the problem is, you signed a contract with that player saying, I'm going to give you $100 million. And my fee that I pay you every game is 10 grand. So now you're fighting it's all stalling. All the owners are doing right now, they're throwing out these ridiculous claims. There was a thing that came out, their newest proposal that came out was going to pay players 85% of what they're supposed to make on their contract. That's 85% of what's their contract number, and they're cutting their games by just over half. They're going to play about 40% of the games that they should. So the number that the players were actually making based on their contract was closer to 30%, not 87%. So that number of, we're going to pay them 85% of what their contract is. That's not what it is. They're going to make closer to 30% of what their contract is than the opposite. So that's like, going into work and, there was an issue that went on and they're like, you know what? We understand what you're paid. We're going to cut you by, I understand you make $20 an hour. Well, you know what? We're going to pay you $8 now because we're going through some hard times. And I understand as baseball, this is a situation. It's a pandemic. There's things that are wrong. You're not going to see your revenue. You're not going to see your profit like normal. You can't have fans in the stands. You can't do it. You can't sell them tickets. You can't sell them food. You still get your money from TV networks if you're on. You can still sell jerseys. Each team has an online store. You can still do other things to collect in revenue. But the fact that you're now reneging and going back on an agreement that they had in March, the players and owners agreed not signing on a dotted line. They verbally agreed back in March of what to do. And now the owners are reneging on that, and they want to cut from the players because their profits are going to hurt. I understand. It's a hard time. It's a scary time. You don't want to lose any profit. You don't want to lose a dime. But the problem is, those players, yes, the majority, you look at your top tier, your few guys at the top, your Mike Trouts, Aaron Judge still doesn't make anything, but you look at your Mike Trouts. Yeah, they're making a boatload of money. But that's the top, this many guys. It's, 1, 2, 3 guys per team. And most have one guy that's super well paid. A lot of the other guys are just kind of, in baseball terms, normal guys. But if you look at it and you look at the guys underneath there, and they're on a AAA, but they're on a major league, and they go back and forth, they're not making a bunch of money. And to some guys, you can be in the league one day and out the next. So why, as an owner, you're going to own that team for as long as you want to own that team. You're going to keep that team, and for every year after this, you're going to make, hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not going to bat an eye. You're not going to give an extra thing to the players as soon as you go back to profiting. So why are you trying to take it from them now? You guys signed a contract. You signed a contract. You agree to the contract. You move forward. You take the bullet. You say, this sucks. This is terrifying. I hate this. But at the end of the day, you signed a contract to Mike Trout saying you're going to pay him $400 million. Why can you not honor that contract now? Because we're not going to play as many baseball games, and now it's a situation. Okay, if it's a purely per game thing, and you want to pay players based off the games that they play, then pay them what they deserve a game. Don't now go, since we're playing, you can only get 70% of what we're supposed to do per game. No, you're already not playing 162. If you play 80 games, or we'll go directly half, you play 81 games, still pay them what they were supposed to make if they played 162 per game. That's fair. They're still taking a pay decrease by half. Don't go now, oh, well, we're going to pay you guys 85% of your contract. No, you're not. You're paying them 85% of what their per game rate is. And ends up making now 30%. Instead of just going, hey, just pay us what we're supposed to make per game. However many games we play, that's what we play. And that's what the problem with the owners right now is. They're stalling. They are stalling until they get to the point where they go, I guess we're going to have a 50-game season or a 30-game season. And it's going to be a situation where they're going to go, yeah, we'll pay you what you're supposed to make per game, but we're only going to play 30 games and we're going into playoffs. That's the problem. They're stalling, they're waiting, and the issue is baseball has a timetable. You can't play in November or December or January. You can't. You just can't. Baseball and the fact that the Yankees are good, yeah, you can possibly play in LA. Yeah, you can possibly play here in Texas with the new stadium and the fact that has a dome, and you can play in Houston and Florida. You can't play anywhere that doesn't have a dome or isn't in LA, San Diego. That's it. Those are the places that you can play. If you don't have a dome and you aren't in some nice climate, you can't play really after October. You try to play in Chicago in the middle of November. Not going to happen. You have middle of October to finish things up. And at this point, the time's ticking. The NBA is coming back. The NFL doesn't care. They're still going to play. College football still going to play. UFC still playing. Golf coming back and going to play. MLB, you missed your chance. Either something's going to come out in the next 24, 48 hours, Monday morning of the MLB saying, all right, we're going to do this. Or they're going to miss their chance. They're going to hinder more. They're going to have a very bad impact on those true MLB fans. Because at the end of the day, for people that don't really watch baseball, it's like, it's just baseball. But for those fans that really genuinely care about baseball and they watch all 162 games, that's where it's going to hurt the fans. That's where it's going to have a lasting impact year over year. Baseball doesn't have a cap. It's not like it's going to come down. It doesn't exist. Baseball pays what they want to pay. So, in a situation when you now lose a third of your fan base or a fifth of your fan base, whatever it may be, that's going to have an effect to your bottom line. And that's what the owners care about, is their bottom line. So, you're missing your opportunity. So either decide, just pay them what they're supposed to make per game. If we play half the games, we play half the games. And the players are understanding and okay with that. They do want to play. And they've said, just pay us what we're supposed to make per game. The owners don't want to do it because they're trying to cut them and, save as much money as possible. Not going to work. As we switch up one more time, as we get done with the MLB and the fact that they should just come on back. Golf has returned this weekend, as it is here actually in Fort Worth, Texas. Bryson DeChambeau is now 240 pounds. He's trying to be 270 pounds is what he has said. He is leading the field in carry distance. And he is absolutely mashing the ball. He's carrying the ball on average with his drives 325. Most people think, the players hit that long all the time. No, they don't. Dustin Johnson, his average carry distance is like 300, 305. If they're playing in a higher altitude place, maybe he'll get to 320. Rory is the same way. He carries the ball 305. John Rahm, 305. Tiger, 295. They don't average carry at 325. It's in Fort Worth. It's not like we're high altitude. The fairways are firm, but we're not high altitude. The ball doesn't carry that well here. This isn't Colorado. This isn't Mexico City. This isn't parts of California. This is regular kind of median, couple 100 feet of elevation. He's mashing the ball. Jordan Spieth is putting well and is back in the lead. Harold Varner back playing well as kind of a newer face to the golf scene. Had the lead at the end of the second round, is now lost it to Jordan Spieth, as Jordan Spieth is in the lead as he's charged. He shot a 5 under, and I believe he is now 3 under at 14 under or 13 under for the tournament, but he is in the lead. That's really about all there is for golf. It's, hey, Jordan Spieth's back. This tournament is absolutely incredible with their field. You had Justin Thomas and John Rahm and DJ and Phil and Ricky and Jordan and Harold Varner, and like just the list is just on and on and on. It's just for the true golf fanatics. It's like you're looking through the list and you're like, wow. Like as you're just scrolling down the types of names, and it looks like a major and then some. It's just these guys really showed out to this. They've been cooped up. They're trying to get that rust off. They want to come out and play, and a lot of these guys are playing really well. So it's good to see golf again. It's a little weird not hearing any applause or any cheering or anything after a good shot. So it's a little weird. It's a little different. But that, as of right now, is just kind of what we have to deal with. But it is good to see sports again. It's good to have a packed and busy show as we get more sports news and things kind of go in transition. We should be good to go as coming up into this next week in terms of Wednesday's show. It's a situation, like I said, last week happened on Wednesday. I got super busy. There really wasn't any topics to talk about. Yeah, I could have talked about golf, but it's not really great to talk about for that long. And it would have ended up being, I talked about it just now for 3 minutes. So I didn't want to do it for a 3-minute show. I felt like it would be better just to kind of push everything to Saturday and just have a collective as a show. So should try to have a show this week on Wednesday at 10:05. But as you already know, you got to be following us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Switch Up Sports to know when that is going on, as one of the shirts that I am wearing is part of that new merch. It's a plain solid. We are rocking that Switch Up Sports logo on the sleeve. This shirt's kind of it's an active, it's soft, but it's not that like stretchy like Under Armour type material or that Nike. It's like a different, it's like cotton and polyester and stuff. I don't know. It's stretchy, feels good, it's moisture wicking, it's super comfortable. It's now actually one of my favorite shirts to wear. So if you want to get some merch, DM, something like that, whether Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, rock it on the sleeve, can do it there. I know some people, we'll put the logo, on a neckline up here. We can do that as well. It's just a conversation to be had. We can find you a different color. I know this is kind of like that Carolina blue with that navy logo. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks really good. Some more stuff will be coming out here, a little bit more polos and stuff. So I'll kind of get some more merch and some more of those pictures up and running. But as well, Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, and YouTube, if you want to go there, as well as shows will be trickling into those places, as well as this show will end up on YouTube. If you just want to go back and rewatch, or you can rewatch on Facebook or Instagram. Twitter doesn't really get over there as much, but Facebook and Instagram for sure. As always, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. As like I said, Wednesday show, 10:05, unless there's just no topics, because I'm not going to do a 5-minute show. It's not worth it for me. I do love it, but I'm not going to get on and give you guys a 5-minute talk on something. I'd like to rant for at least 10 minutes on a topic. But as always, like I said, I appreciate it, and you already know you got to go ahead and pop in your headphones and lace up your shoes. But then you got to switch it up, because this is Switch Up Sports. All right, guys, you take it easy, and I will hopefully see you on Wednesday. Have a good one.